Time Warner Cable is proud to present the Game of the Week, featuring the 2010 Battle of the Valley, showcasing boys high school all-stars from Ventura County, the Santa Clarita, and San Fernando Valleys. Tonight's game is sponsored in part by the Valley Sports Foundation. Good friends at the Valley Sports Foundation, making basketball dreams come true. Call Jack Pollen at 818-425-8737. By Styling Construction. No one has our experience or billing terms. Styling Construction, a proud sponsor of the Battle of the Valley. And by IDS Real Estate. We build lasting relationships at IDS Real Estate with offices in Los Angeles, Orange County, and North San Diego. As we come inside the Matadome at Cal State Northridge, my name is Randy Rosenblum, set to call the play-by-play with Eric Sotheimer of the LA Times. Eric, we were here last year and went into double overtime, and the West won at 96-95. Every year at the Boys Battle of the Valley, we have high-scoring, close games.
I mean, the All-Star games are about entertainment, and these guys are capable of pulling that off tonight. And I'm so excited because there's two extraordinary players in this game who might end up playing in the NBA one day.
And one of them, and we'll start with him, is Bryce Jones of the West. He's on his way to USC. He'll wear number 15 in white out of Taft High School. He is a terrific player. He'll be in our dunk contest.
Right. He was probably what I would call the City Section Player of the Year runner-up to Dwayne Pulley Jr. And at the end of the season, every game he was getting better, and that was because he missed his junior season, having to sit out after transferring from View Park Prep to Taft. He's 6'5". He's versatile. He can go inside and go outside. He's great on dunks. He can hit the three. He's really an unheralded player as far as nationally, because a lot of people nationally don't know about him, but they are going to hear about him when he gets to USC.
When you look at the rest of the roster, as you run down the roster, what do you see from these All-Stars as you look at Mr. Jones on the bench? There's the All-Star team for the West. Who stands out of the rest?
Well, I really think there's going to be a battle in the post area between Alex Tiffin from Thousand Oaks, 6'8", headed to UC Davis. He's capable of getting loose balls and scoring. And the other player I'm looking forward to seeing is Pearson Williams. He's an underrated player, an all-city player. He had 24 points against Mater Dei in the Division I semifinals.
There's Trevor Weissman. That leads us to the east out of Golden Valley. He's the other player I know you think down the road could be in the NBA.
You're talking about a guy who's like Lamar Odom. How many 6'8" guys play point guard, can score from inside and outside, and that's what's so good about Trevor Weissman.
Now there's the rest of the roster, and out of the Eastern Stars, who do you like out of the rest of the group?
Well, Jamal McClurkin from Shaman had a great practice in talking to the East coaches. He's a guy who was really good his junior year, kind of didn't do as well as he should have been as his senior year, and I really think he'll do well tonight.
Like I said, it was 96-95 last year for the West in double overtime. We expect that kind of encounter again at the Battle of the Valley. We're going to step out, come back for the tip-off for the East and the West, exclusively right here on Time Warner Cable.
Hi everybody, I'm Randy Cardoon, inviting you to catch exciting high school sports action every week on Time Warner Cable's High School Sports Rewind. We'll feature the top games in a variety of girls and boys sporting events from throughout Southern California. You'll be able to hear from some of the top student athletes and coaches in our weekly profile segments. All this and more Tuesday nights on Channel 101 or anytime on our free video on demand service. Just go to Channel 1, select local and SoCal Sports.
Getting set for the tip-off here. The East against the West in the 14th Battle of the Valley. The East will start Jamal McClurkin of Chaminade, Coltrane Powdrill of Crescenta Valley, Argon Gregorian of Burbank. The big fellow in the middle at 6'11", Darrell Haley, on his way to VCU out of Palmdale, and Trevor Weissman, the great player out of Golden Valley. The West will start James Whalen out of Thousand Oaks, Jason Johnson of Cleveland, Bryce Jones of Taft, Pearson Williams of Taft, and Alex Tiffin of Thousand Oaks. We're underway as you look at David Rabibo, coaching the West. This is Jason Johnson, played at Cleveland High School for the Cavaliers. Whalen bouncing to Tiffin. Alex Tiffin, the co-player of the year in Ventura County. This is Tiffin from deep. Whalen able to flag it down in the corner. Pearson Williams, 2-0 West.
There's my early MVP surprise candidate, Pearson Williams. He surprises everybody at Taft, and he's just an excellent player, but doesn't get the attention that some of these other top-notch players get.
Takeaway, here comes Bryce Jones in the corner. Whalen left alone. Rebound taken by Haley at 6'11" to Weissman. Everybody loves Weissman. I think he's going to be a great player.
Easy, guys. Easy.
Early on, Garrett Gorian of Burbank. Taken away by Bryce Jones. Here we go the other way to Johnson, and he lays it up and in. Nice drive, taking it strong to the basket. Jason Johnson, 6'2" guard out of Cleveland. Of course, you think of great guards who played this game. Nick Young played in Cleveland, went on to SC, and now in the NBA with the Washington Wizards. Weissman with the pass to Garrett Gorian. One shot over the iron, and Bryce Jones had it tipped away and out of bounds. Give it to the East.
Now that's an interesting matchup. Bryce Jones guarding Trevor Wiseman. One going to Hawaii, the other going to USC. These are the top two players in this game, and there's a little bit of competitiveness going on already early on.
Pair of 33s out there for the East. McClurkin and Haley. Again, you can have duplicate numbers because they're wearing their school uniforms. There's a bank shot, no good. McClurkin able to tip it up, keep it alive. Now they go down low to Haley at 6'11". Again, he's going to play at Virginia Commonwealth. Still not going in for the East early on. Out of bounds, and the West will have it.
There's usually a lot of missed shots in all-star games, and the guys that do really well are the ones able to just hustle, get those loose balls under the basket, and then score. And I'm looking for a couple of those players tonight.
Jason Johnson is really a great perimeter shooter. Really knocked down the three. It's a pick from Tiffin. Pass too high for Tiffin. Tipped away and out of bounds to the East.
Well, that was Haley getting out on the hedge there. Very impressive in an all-star game. A center going out that quickly, and that's why he's going to VCU. And I remember his father because he played at Fairfax High back in the late 70s when I was at Poly I, and Darrell Haley destroyed Poly.
Weissman all the way. Great jump switch and a takeaway by Pearson Williams to his high school teammate Bryce Jones. In the corner, Johnson for three. Yes, the three ball, the money ball for Bryce Jones. 7-0 for the West here.
That was the unselfishness of Bryce Jones, passing it off a Taft guy, throwing it to a Cleveland guy, and getting the shot.
Not the start for the Western Stars, out to 7-0. David Rabibo likes it on the sideline. I'm certain on the other side, Jose Hernandez of Burbank not thrilled, but it's just the beginning. Here's Whalen bringing it up with the Lancer uniform, representing Thousand Oaks. Lobbing it, wanted to go to Bryce Jones, and collision there with Weissman and a foul. And it's on Trevor Weissman. So we've gone 3 minutes here. The West with a 7-0 spurt to begin the game.
We've learned in these all-star games there are lots of spurts, but there's never a point in the game, I think, Randy, where you can feel comfortable because both teams are capable of pulling off those spurts.
Ruled a shooting foul. Bryce Jones off iron on the first one. Bryce averaged 17 points, 7.5 rebounds. Hit 49% of his threes, 59% from the floor, and shot 69% from the line, but he missed them both there. He likes that 9, 49%, 59%, 69%, all his shooting percentage. Let's see if the East can get off the Schneid here. Down low to Haley at 6'11", working against Tiffin. There's a nice pass. And into and out of the hands of Coltrane Powdrill. One of the great names you're ever going to want to see. Coltrane Powdrill out of Crescenta Valley. Undecided about his future. Good shooter. So far, none of the Eastern Stars able to connect. Here's Johnson raising up and drilling a triple. And it's a 10-0 opening for the Western Stars to begin the game.
And Johnson has aided the points. I've seen him do this. He's a streak shooter, and he's hot right now.
The first time we saw him play, he came out and hit 32, right, Eric? The first time we ever saw him play in a big game.
That was at Fremont, I believe.
Yeah, it was at Fremont.
Yeah, he's capable of doing this, and he's getting open, and it's nice that his teammates are feeding him the ball when he's open.
Well, it's frustrated a little bit here early on for the Eastern Stars, who have not been able to connect, but they'll get it revved up. There's a nice drive, and there's a block. Tiffin blocked it. Charging to the basket, trying to score was Jamal McClurkin, and they rejected it away. There's a big mop of number 34 Tiffin, who's so good, in a steal by Whalen. Ahead to Johnson, lobbing to Tiffin. That's gorgeous, and it's 12-0. Timeout taken by the Eastern Stars. Jose Hernandez needed to stop it. 12-0 run to begin the game.
Well, the West came in as the favorite, and they're really executing offensively. They're getting some penetration, which is creating some open shots for Jason Johnson. And defensively, the East has not been able to find somebody to make a shot outside. I mean, Trevor Wiseman is trying to create some shots, but so far really hasn't been able to get people to get off the other players. So right now, a great start for the West team.
Our game of the week replay has it. Jason Johnson with this gorgeous feed.
Alex Tiffin out of Thousand Oaks headed to UC Davis. Very good offensive player.
Yeah, Alex Tiffin, a terrific player. One of the reasons the so-called experts have deemed the Western Stars the favorite here. Solid post skills, great footwork for Alex Tiffin. Top 5 in Ventura County in scoring, rebounding, and blocks per ball game. You mentioned it, he's on his way to UC Davis. There's the head coach, Jose Hernandez, saying, I got all-stars, but I have no baskets so far. Both the coaches, Hernandez and Rebibo, expected a very competitive game. And they were just remarking with limited practice sessions how talented this group was. Well, here's Weissman looking to start it. Garagorian. It's a good look inside. Coltrane is slowed down again. That was a block by Johnson and out of bounds. So we're under 16 minutes to play. We have our media timeout, and the East hasn't scored. It's 12-0 for the West here on the Battle of the Valley. If we want to thank our participating sponsors and people who have helped out, certainly some assistance from our friends at Cal State Northridge, HPA, and iCommunications. Speaking of I, let's speak to our third member of our broadcast team. That's Jake Downing. He's with Jack Pollen. Unfortunately, I'm unable to pick up that interview. We'll get back to Jake and Jack in a moment. And see, I don't know that Jake had the mic on. That's always a problem. Let's see if we'll try it again. And, no, I don't think so. I think it is operative. Let's go back to Jake.
Our technical malfunctions have been solved, and Jack Pollen is on my left. He's the game organizer. A lot of effort, a lot of man hours, a lot of people go into making this happen.
Yeah, a lot of people go into making this game go on, from Bill Herlihy with uniforms and T-shirts to Murad Siam with soliciting donations, myself getting players signed up for the game, and Ted Cherries with our accounting. There's just so many people that make this game happen. The Valley Sports Foundation loves promoting youth and high school sports. We offer fall leagues and spring leagues, and a lot of these players have come up playing in our leagues, and now as sort of a reward for that, we like to honor our best seniors in the All-Star games here at Cal State Northridge each year.
And it all comes from you guys being basketball junkies and just wanting to help out in the community.
Yeah, we're all former coaches, former players, and want to see the continued development and growth of all the youth and high school basketball players in our community, in our area. We take such great joy in seeing these guys move on to college and have great jobs and move on in life. And if we can help with basketball in any way, we just love doing that.
Back to the action, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Wholesale changes. We did have Weissman making a basket for the East, so finally they're able to score. Here's Medina raising up, and he's short with that one, and Powdrill rebounds. He's still out there, as is this guy, Trevor Weissman, the great star, and at 6'8", he can see over the defense. There's a jumper that falls. Beautifully executed. Taylor Stanham of Golden Valley.
That was Dushan Carter.
Another, well, you see, there's multiple 22s out there, so that was Dushan Carter. Okay, there's two 22s out there, so that one was
All
Carter.
I know is Trevor Weissman's getting into this game. He's getting a little frustrated, but he's getting into the game.
Here's Dushan Carter. Again, if you can see out there, I looked up and saw 22. Here's a steal, and this is going to be an easy basket. Trey Holden slamming it through. That's the one thing I like, the multiple numbers, because it's showing different uniforms, but it can trick you a little bit. Here's Carter. Dushan Carter putting it in an overdrive. Got it back. Nice pass. Tall threes in there, and here comes the Western Stars. Odu off to Holden, and he threw it up high on the glass. And the rebound and the putback is good. Trey Holden out of El Camino Real, captain of the Conquistadors. 16-4 for the West here. Now Drill has blocked it. Terrific block by Sadi Odu.
The West just has a variety of scorers. We haven't even heard yet from Jordan Coleman, who's in the game now for the West, and that's the advantage. There's just so many different players they can go to. In the East, they're still searching for an offensive force, and right now I haven't been able to see one.
Well, at least they got Powdrill to the line. Free throw no good. At the foul stripe is McClurkin. Jamal McClurkin. Powdrill got there earlier, now McClurkin. 13:22 left in a 16-4 game for the Western Stars early on. And these things can change dramatically. Out of bounds, and the East apparently will get it back. Stanham is out there, though, number 22 for Golden Valley.
McClurkin comes out of Chaminade in the Great Mission League this year. Crespi and Alameda made it to the championship game out of 4A.
Carter out on top. Quickness there defensively, tipped away by Medina, and he's got it. Trevor Medina ball hawking. Gotta like that. The trailer is Odu, and he banks it in high off the window. And it's 18-4 as Carter pushes the other way. And a takeaway by Medina, who's come in here, and Trevor Medina doing terrific work out of Granada Hills. 20-4.
Well, that's what Medina was known for, Granada Hills. They did some full court pressing, and he loves to make steals.
Nick Brown has come in the bright red out of Verdugo Hills, wearing number 1 for the East. Stanham's step back jumper no good. Rebound Trey Holden, who's come in and played hard, and he'll pull up for 3. Stanham rebound. Underneath in the layup, good for 2 points. That was Jared Garner of Grant High School in the East Valley.
Can I say, if the West opens up like a 30-point lead, you would think you feel comfortable? Well, not the coach on the West, David Rabito, because he was the coach at El Camino Real that lost to Verdugo Hills and blew a 15-point fourth quarter lead this year in the Division III final. So there's no lead safe for Dave Rabito of El Camino Real.
Well, Dave Rabito's a very good coach. He's a young guy. He's only 26, third year at ECR. And, he'll get it done. You know, it's not easy to beat that Verdugo Hills team. They had a great year.
No, that was the most extraordinary game of the season.
Here's Medina off balance, somehow drawing a foul.
I mean, imagine, Verdugo's hadn't won a league title since 1959. They had never won a city title. They were down 27-10 in the first quarter, 40-23 at halftime, 48-33 after 3 quarters, and somehow they won. And so Dave is, I kind of kid him a lot and the people over there, but he did a great job at El Camino.
11:25 left in the first half. It's 20-6 for the Western Stars, and some sponsors to thank, our friends at KPRS, MPI, and of course Madison Partners, all contributors to the Valley Sports Foundation in the Battle of the Valley. Let's check in once again with Jake Downey.
Hey, thanks very much. I'm here with Remy McCarthy. He's the men's basketball coach at Moore Park College. And you watch these games a little bit differently. Probably every kid on this floor you'd like to have play for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of absolutely, and that's why we're here. And you know, junior college is a unique recruiting experience for us, and we're sort of we're at the bottom of the totem pole for a lot of kids. The only way where we maybe beat four-year schools on kids is that we've had some kids go on and do very well at Division I level. Kids like Devin Montgomery at Pepperdine, and Johnny Gray was a 2006 Big West Tournament MVP. Went to the University of Pacific. And sometimes a kid will look at a Division II school and say, you know, if I go to a community college, maybe there's a chance I end up with a four-year scholarship.
And so in the case of a lot of these guys, they have their offers, but you know that sometimes they fall through, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think most times when a kid gets a Division I scholarship, he's going to take it. And there's very few Division II schools in the state that offer full scholarships. Most of them only offer partial. And the other thing, too, is that there's an academic transition as well for a community college, that a lot of times it's better for a kid to come and make not only the basketball transition, but the academic transition as well. Great.
I'm guessing you also take pleasure in helping young men kind of move into adulthood.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's really, it's the thing that keeps you going. You know, I'm 53 years old. I've been doing this for 21 years. This is starting my 14th year at Moore Park College. And just being around the kids every day, it keeps you young, it keeps you fresh. It's really a great job.
And you get to come to games like this and call it work.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Coach, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Drake. Thanks for having me.
All right, Eric and Randy, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jake. And 21-6, he's still struggling to score. Foul on Jared Garner, and that sends Trey Holden to the line out of El Camino Real. Trevor Medina has been everywhere defensively. Young man out of Granada Hills, the LA County MVP, had 135 steals during the regular season. Doing a lot of damage, kind of like that young guy's doing with that food. That's some damage right there, but Medina's been terrific.
Right, he's really ignited the defense for the West. And what's interesting is another player on this West team, Jordan Coleman, he was teammates with Medina at Granada Hills as a freshman and sophomore before he transferred to Calabasas. They're kind of reunited. Coleman's still trying to get adjusted to this game. In All-Star games, Randy, you got to find a way to contribute, because sometimes if you're a team player, it doesn't work out because people shoot very quickly in this game. And Jordan right now is trying to find a way to adjust to this.
Larry Slaughter was fouled by Jermaine Dansby. Larry Slaughter played for Knight High School in Palmdale. Speaking of Knight High School, Paul George played in this game a few years ago. Scored 30 at Fresno State now, and a lot of people think he's going to be in the first round of the NBA draft. He's going to come out early. He's come out. He hadn't hired an agent yet, but Paul George was a great player. Scored 30 points in this game, and the young man Slaughter, also out of Knight High School, and on cue, Larry Slaughter puts one in.
Yes, every year in this game we find somebody from the Antelope Valley who surprises us, and Paul George right up there with Nick Young as one of the best players that have been in this game.
Pearson Williams drops in a runner from 14 feet. 23-8 for the West. Here's Garner, the young man from Grant High School. Nick Brown from the side out of Verdugo Hills. Now you can start chanting about that Verdugo Hills team. They had so many accolades this year. There's a blocking foul. How about the coaching at Verdugo this season?
Well, it was a great story on Jared Gibson. This young guy he was going to go into the pizza business, and he decided to quit and become a coach and a PE teacher. And what a story. I think we'll be hearing about Verdugo Hills for several years to come.
Tiffin misses on the bank shot. Friedman battles, but the rebound comes down to the Eastern Stars. Dragovich, and here's Nick Brown. Yes, the three ball for Nick Brown, that young man from Verdugo Hills. 23-13, the lead chopped to 10.
I think Dave is feeling some flashbacks there on the bench of the West team. Verdugo Hills coming back.
Yeah, history repeats itself. Pearson Williams missing Alex Tiffin again in an all-star game. Sometimes they won't read one another. Down to 9:55 to go in the half. With Eric Sondheimer, I'm Randy Rosenblum on Time Warner Cable, and we have a foul and an opportunity for Garner to go to the line and knock down a brace of Charities. Caldwell with the foul. And
What was that?
a brace of Charities. You haven't heard that term? It's two.
No.
That means two.
Oh, okay. You're using the big words on me now,
I
Randy.
do that as we take another look. How about this drive by Garner?
Yes, but I like the fact the West is challenging every shot. They've had a couple blocks, and they're sending a message. You want to come into the key, you're going to get challenged.
Jared Garner with another one, averaged 19 a game for the Lancers of Grant. And he drops that one in. Normally pretty good at the foul line, right around 70% as he played for Howie Levine.
You know, Howie's become one of the longest-lasting coaches in city section. He might be the long up there with Sam Sullivan of Fremont, who's #1, and Howie's close to that. Longest-serving coach in the city section.
Didn't Howie Levine have a nightclub act too, doesn't he? Say?
Oh yeah, sings Frank Sinatra songs.
Okay, well he had a lot of good sound this year from this young man dropping in jump shots, Jared Garner. Let's see if he can play some defense here and stop the West. Friedman can't hit it. Rebound Dragovich. Nick Dragovich. 23-14, 9:15 to play in the half. Here's Brown raising up and hitting again. And Nick Brown has come in and helped the Eastern Stars out of Verdugo Hills.
So much for that route there, Randy. Look at the game is close again, and Nick Brown is leading the charge.
Harrison Williams leaning in, putting it up, offline. Saved beautifully by the Eastern Stars, and they turn it over. Really like the work there to save it. But then they were a little inaccurate with their passing as Jeremy Sulker Hall out of Notre Dame did a nice job on the glass, but then they turned it over. There's a timeout. 8:52 left in the first half. Well, the East has gotten this performance from Nick Brown coming in, knocking down rainbow jumpers.
Yeah, they needed somebody to come out there and contribute offensively. There was nobody in the first unit. Brown has come off the bench and hit 2 3-pointers. It's opened up the way for others to contribute, and that's what the East needed. They were just searching for anybody on offense, and now we have a little bit of a game. I do think that the West first unit was outstanding, and when they put those guys back as a unit, they'll be tough to beat.
C.J. Falwell's out there, number 32 for Simi Valley. He's going to trigger it in. Academic guy with a great GPA. One of the things at the Battle of the Valley, they always recognize the smart guys, and I think that's great. Pearson Williams drops in a shot from the land of three.
Are you telling me there is no Division I program in America who wouldn't want somebody who can make a 3-pointer like that? That's what he did in the state semifinals against Mater Dei.
He only won that game. Here's Dragovich for three. Oh, that rattled in and out, and Tiffin clears it off the glass. To Friedman. Back to Tiffin. Nice drive by Alex over the iron. Rebound Sulker Hall to Garner. Garner fading away. Tough shot, but it's put back up and in beautifully by Slaughter. Larry Slaughter, undecided about where he's going to play. A 6'5" forward, and a very good one out of Knight High School. Chased down by Dragovich. He saves it on to the court, but there's Pearson Williams, and he puts in 2 more.
Well, this is an easy game for Pearson because he's faced much tougher competition. We're talking about going against the Etiwandas and the Westchesters of the world. This is easy compared to that.
Dragovich off to Garner. 7.5 minutes left in the half. Dragovich inside to Slaughter. Got it back, but they're going to call a tie-up. Out of bounds, back to the West. Timeout on the floor with 7:19 left in the first half. The West, after having that lead chopped down, has built it back up to 9 at 28-19. And at this point, we have some sponsors to thank at the 14th annual Battle of the Valley. Our friends who are helping out, Kevin and Britta Shannon, the Lear family, Patrick C. Stacker, and Zuma Technology. And let's zoom over to Jake again. Big Game Jake has another guest.
Well, guys, we talk about all the people that it takes to make this event happen. And this handsome young man on my right is Dave Kiefer. He's with California Preps. And over the years, he's been involved in this event by covering it and promoting it on his website, CaliforniaPreps.com. And thanks for being here. And what brings you out tonight?
Well, it's always a pleasure to cover this game. It's kind of a good way to top off the season after I've seen a lot of these players, many games. I know I've gotten to know the players and some of the parents, and it's just a nice way to say goodbye to someone to cover the game.
Now, CaliforniaPreps.com is affiliated with Rivals, and under the Rivals banner, and you've been covering high school events a long time. You've got to take pleasure being out here and watching these games.
Yeah, especially since I know a lot of the players, and like I said, some of the parents. And some of them it's going to be their last game. They won't go on to play college, although some of them will. But for some, this is the last game, and it's a pleasure for me to see the last game and cover it. Take some pictures of them and so forth.
Well, Dave, thanks for being with us, and back to the action, guys.
Trevor Weissman back on. Here he is, number 23. They need him to start putting the ball in. He's so talented, so good. Quincy Moore's come on as well. We know this guy can shoot it. Nick Brown with 3 more. He has been unbelievable so far.
And you're just seeing a little bit of the magic that Verdugo Hills had this year. They just had guys step up and shoot and rebound and block shots. Chris Dees, the junior player on Verdugo Hills, who's not eligible for this game, all-city player, but Nick Brown is an excellent player as we're learning.
Sure we'll see Chris Dees next year. Here's a takeaway for the West. Falwell's shot is blocked away and out of bounds beautifully by Quincy Moore.
It was a good year for the Valley as far as the city section teams was concerned. Taft getting to the finals of the Division I game, Verdugo Hills and El Camino playing in the Division III game.
Inside Tiffin, too many athletes in there to power that one up. Here's Pearson Williams out of the corner. Taken by Slaughter to Daryl Haley. Wanted in this guy's hands, Weissman, because he handles it so well. At 6'8".
Right, that's what's so amazing, Randy, to see a guy 6'8" playing point guard. And he didn't play much point for Golden Valley. They kind of used him inside. They also used him as a point guard at times. But I like in this game that we're seeing what he's going to play in college.
Well, he's going to play for Gib Arnold, the new head coach at Hawaii. Here's Haley inside. Daryl at 6'11", missed the layup. Normally he'll knock that one down, and Falwell rebounds. Wilson loves that spot. Long range jumper, no good. West has gone cold. 5:40 left in the half. Here's Nick Brown. That was from way downtown.
People are going to have some shooting fatigue. They're just throwing up the threes.
Pearson Williams not shy. And long shots take long bounces. Friedman of Westlake. Falwell of Simi Valley. So Ventura County players on the floor. Here's Friedman for 3. Bingo. Mark Friedman. 18 and 11 were the Warriors. Really, Friedman the best player on a basketball team that surprised in Ventura County this year. Did very well. Quincy Moore raising up. Here comes Kahn. Kahn all the way. Can't hit it. Weissman rebounds. With the spin move. Then Jason Haley gives us our first slam dunk. We expect more of that.
But that was a Trevor Weissman. He created that shot for Haley and made a great pass. He is a terrific passer. He's going to be a terrific point guard at Hawaii.
Weissman is unselfish, just slapped it away from Tiffin. We said there'd be dunks, so we've seen one, so let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, the nice pass to Haley. Put it down.
Liberal substitution again as a lot of the players who started the game for the West return, including Bryce Jones, Justin Johnson. Coleman shot in and out. side. McClurkin with a beautiful rebound. Surprised his teammate Haley with that pass as we reach 4 minutes to play. First half. Johnson. 3 more for Jason Johnson. Cleveland sharpshooter builds the lead to 10 for the West.
Johnson has 3 3-pointers, as does Brown, so they're having a little 3-point shooting contest.
And we'll have a slam dunk contest at halftime for the guy. Trevor Weissman all the way underneath. He missed it. I'm surprised they didn't drop that one in, but his ability to handle the basketball got him to the iron.
And he's also a very good free throw shooter. And that combination of that size and be able to draw some fouls should really be beneficial at the next level. Imagine what happened when they designed an offense and will have him post up on a point guard. That's going to be pretty interesting.
When he posts up, he normally deposits it into the basket. Some people to thank here. The Valley Sports Foundation's 14th Annual Battle of the Valley. Altman's Construction Company, Pillsbury and XEBEC. And let's once again check in with Big Game Jake Downing.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with Virgil Watson from LA Valley College, and there's a lot of talent on the floor that I'm sure you wouldn't mind having suit up in green and gold.
Oh, without a doubt. There's some very good players here. We'd love to have a handful of them. I could bring the van if I just drive them over right now.
The other junior college coaches that I've talked to say roughly the same thing, and that you're kind of at the choice of last resort for scholarships and whatnot, but still, you offer a lot of these young men and women a chance to play basketball and move on in their lives and enrich their lives and maybe develop other opportunities.
Oh, without a doubt. We're that next opportunity. Some guys don't get that scholarship look that they want. And if they don't get it, we're that next opportunity. And a lot of kids have come on, got that second opportunity, gone in and advanced to the Division I and Division II level. So that's what we're definitely there for that.
Coach, thanks for being with us, and we'll get back to the action.
Now we get back to Trevor Weissman, 64% foul shooter for Golden Valley.
Do you know who Trevor Weissman is related to? Our good friends, the Castle family.
No, you're kidding.
He's cousins. No, he is the cousin of Matt Castle and Justin Castle and Jack Castle.
Of course,
on his mother's side. On Trevor Weissman's mother's
of course,
side.
we saw Matt Castle win football championships at Chatsworth.
That's the Castle blood is athletic, and that's what Trevor Weissman has.
Of course, the starting quarterback now for the Kansas City Chiefs is Matt Castle. Coleman had it blocked, came back to him, and then he traveled.
Two Hawaii players in a game. When's the last time we've had that in an All-Star game?
Well, they need it. They need to reload. Hawaii had a tough year in the WAC. Gib Arnold takes over there, and a young assistant coach out of USC, and he gets a couple guys from SoCal. So I'm not really surprised with Gib Arnold going to Hawaii. He gets a good one here in Weissman. He's really good. Garrett Gorgian back in. Hard to miss him in that blue uniform in Weissman. See what he can do here if he takes it to the basket. There's the play for him. Oh, this one's going against him. Falwell had position, was knocked down, and did a nice job, and Trevor picked up the offensive foul.
Leave it up to the 4.2 GPA guy from Simi Valley, Christian Arrant, to take the charge.
Christian Arrant, a great coach for the Pioneers, and Falwell did very nice work for him this past season. 3 minutes left as Johnson fires again. No good, a nice rebound by McClurkin, and we're going to have a foul. Klaus Entrasat Jr., lead official, has the call. It's going to stay at this end. Weissman with the foul.
Some little interesting matchups going on. Jordan Coleman from Calabasas, who's going to Hawaii, was guarding Weissman on that last series.
Eric, I'm surprised. We normally have more points than this. And Bryce Jones, who handles right now, has been very quiet in this half. Let's see if Bryce can get it going. There it is. The great star out of Taft, Bryce Jones with the triple.
Yes, he's definitely been a little too quiet till then.
Reaches for, nearly had a steal. Haley gets it back. Throws it up, no good. Jones rebounds, and we're going to have another foul.
Well, Bryce will make his presence known here. He does it in so many different ways. Even though he didn't score until that point, he's been doing a good job with some of his passes. And I think that the little matchup that's going on between him and Weissman is inspiring him a little bit here.
Well, Bryce Jones and Weissman will both be in the slam dunk contest at halftime, which is always a highlight at the Battle of the Valley as the West plays giveaway. You'll see the crowd be as noisy as at any time tonight when the slam dunkers come out there and do their thing. McClurkin with that spin move and layup. That's gorgeous. Out of Chaminade.
Plays for Todd Wolfson, ex-El Camino Real player.
37-26. 2:10 to play. Here's Bryce Jones getting fouled. Guess who fouled him? Trevor Wiseman.
And that's one of the problems with Trevor. If you're asking me he's a little imperfect in certain ways, and one of them is maturity, and he was getting showed up by Jones, and he got frustrated there.
I want you to introduce me to a perfect guy. Everyone's imperfect. No one is absolutely ideal.
He needs to keep working on things on the court, and one of them is his discipline.
Bryce Jones with an error. Another one there. And that one drops for him. Bryce Jones, part of that great Toreador program, and the East throws it straight away out of bounds, and Wiseman cannot believe he missed the cutter there. He had a wide open target but could not get it to Garagorian of Burbank. Here's Bryce Jones, and he turned it over back to Wiseman. Trevor all the way. And he's hit and fouled. That was an easy call on James Whelan of Thousand Oaks, who got him as Trevor was attacking the goal.
It's just so rare to see a teenager with so much talent and athleticism as Trevor Wiseman.
How about these numbers? 20 points a game, 9.4 rebounds, 5.5 assists, shot 50% from three-point land, 65% from the floor, and 65% from the free throw line. The Grizzlies in points, rebounds, and blocks. What a year for Trevor Wiseman.
And the Golden Valley coach, Chris Prince, has done a great job in 4 years bringing him along. It hasn't necessarily been easy, but he's done it, and he's got him going off to college, so kudos to Chris Prince.
Well, out on top, a pair of fours there with Justin Coleman. Again, the double numbers because they're wearing their game uniforms from the individual schools. Whelan drops it off to Holden. Trey's in traffic, so he backs it out of there. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Bryce Jones knows what to do with it. He can attack off balance. That's gorgeous. Oh, what a move by Bryce Jones with the shot clock running down. It's 40-28.
It's too bad we don't have a one-on-one contest because I picked Bryce Jones to win, hands down.
There's a nice drive by McClurkin. Couldn't finish. Got it back. He's battling. And that's what you got to like about him. He's a battler in there, McClurkin.
Well, he comes out of that Mission League with Harvard, Westlake, and Loyola, Crespi, and Alameda. It's just a brutal league race. There are no easy games, and it's bumping elbows every game.
Johnson with the three ball, no good. Healy rebounds. Final 40 seconds to the half. Bryce Jones with the steal, and that's an intentional foul as he dunked it in. They're going to count the basket. Haley was grabbing his uniform.
Hey, it's only an intentional if you actually grab the uniform. He was trying to grab the uniform. If he had grabbed the uniform, he wouldn't have been able to make the dunk.
No, I'm telling you, you take a look at it.
If he grabbed,
he got a piece of it.
He touched it. He touched it.
I think that's grabbing the uniform.
Yes, he did pick up a foul for that, but.
All right, they only called it a conventional foul as Jones misses.
We don't want to encourage the officials to call intentional fouls.
Well, the West with another steal from Whalen. 4-on-2 here. And Holden misses. There's Jones. Bryce Jones asserting himself late in this first half, but now it's taken away by McClurkin. And he is going to score. That's goaltending.
I really like the energy of McClurkin he's added here late in this half, and has really stepped up his game. Hopefully it will rub off on some of his teammates because he's really putting it on.
The goaltending against Jamal McClurkin there. 42-32 with 16.5 seconds left in a up and down first half. The offense of the West certainly now starting to get it revved up a little bit. Again, historically we have had games in the hundreds in this game. We'll say usually first time the team hits 100, they normally win the game. Again, the Valley Sports Foundation, the 14th Battle of the Valley for the senior all-stars here at the Cal State Northridge Matadome. My name is Randy Rosenblum with Eric Sondheimer and Jake Downey and our entire Time Warner Cable staff. Thrilled to bring you this game. Well, we'll see what they can draw up here late to try to get a basket, the Western Stars. They lead by 10. Shot clock put to bed for the remainder of the half in the final 15 seconds. Here's Johnson. Tried to lob it to Bryce Jones. Holden got it back. Johnson gave it off to Bryce Jones, and he's tackled at the 12-yard line.
Yeah, he should be out on that Taft football team the way that happened there.
Be a pretty good wide receiver or tight end. Bryce is okay, fortunately. We had a basketball game and a football game broke out.
Should we talk about football yet?
No, it's too early. Well, Bryce Jones was silent. He's come off the bench in the last 4 or 5 minutes and scored freely, although he is really struggling at the foul line.
A little bit of surprise with that, maybe a little fatigue. I don't know how much these guys have been practicing here in the offseason.
That's better for him as he played for Derek Taylor at Taft High School. Final seconds. McClurkin all the way, and he's blocked. Beautiful play by Bryce Jones. And a wonderful way to finish the half for Jones. 43-32, the Western Stars lead it. As we're going to set up and watch those Cleveland Cavalier cheerleaders. But before we do that, let's tell you that tonight's game is sponsored in part by our friends at the Valley Sports Foundation, making basketball dreams come very true. Putting together the leagues, do a great job. Style and Construction, no one has our experience or billing terms. And our friends from IDS Real Estate. At IDS Real Estate, along with Style and Construction, we build lasting relationships with offices in Los Angeles, Orange County, and North San Diego. There they are, the real estate group. There's their telephone number, and thank them. Give them a call. Not only do business with them, but thank them for helping out at the Battle of the Valley. Let's look in here and watch these cheerleaders from the Cavaliers of Reseda. They do a great job at Cleveland.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you've been waiting for, the 2010 Slam Dunk Contest here at the Battle of the Valley.
All right, guys, I'm here with David Rabibo, the head coach at El Camino, and also the coach of the West team that leads by 11 at the half. Better to be up by 11 than down by 11.
Absolutely. Guys are playing hard and playing together. Really a joy to watch.
Now, in practice, did you just roll the ball out and say, go get them, guys?
No, you know what? We actually ran through some shooting drills and some fundamental drills just for a little bit, and then we actually put in 2 lob plays. You know, just try to get the crowd going a little bit. And then we scrimmaged for about the last 45 minutes or so, which was fun. Mixed it up, did some southern section versus city section. Good stuff. Guys enjoyed it. They had a good time.
Have you ever coached a roster that deep from 1 to 12?
Never. That's the deepest roster I've ever coached. Phenomenal.
Make you look like a brilliant coach, huh?
Make anybody look like a brilliant coach. Put any of those 5 out on the court, and it's a joy to watch.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you. Love David Rabibo. Again, he's young and he's talented and does a nice job. It's interesting, we got our slam dunk contest, Eric. I know this is the highlight. We only had 1 dunk by Daryl Haley in that first half, so we're going to get our fill of slammers right now.
Right, and the key to winning the dunk contest is you have to make the dunk. Sometimes these people try to make it so sophisticated that they miss the dunk and aren't able to draw a 9 or an 8.
Now there's our panel of judges. I see Curley from Style and Construction is the first one. We got Borta Scotto, Melissa Hurley, and we got those 2 gentlemen at the end there. Do you know those guys there?
I know Borta Scotto there from Silmar and Melissa Hurley.
Those are the 2 you know. Well, anyway, there's a panel of 5 there that are going to judge, and there's Murad Siam, who's helped put this game together through the years, leaning in and judging 1 through 10. There's going to be 6 judges. 5 at courtside and probably 1 standing from behind that'll judge. And we'll take a look at the dunkers. Now, you like what, Bryce Jones to win this competition?
Trevor Wiseman is usually, he'd be my pick. I asked Jones what he was going to do, anything special. He says he didn't even know. So I think you have to have a plan beforehand what you're going to do on these dunks. Remember Nick Young from Cleveland High School? He planned beforehand that he was going to go full court and make a dunk. You got to really plan ahead.
And we had Fourier of Notre Dame, who threw one off the roof and slammed it in.
Right, out of Crespi, now the tight end at UCLA. That was a crazy dunk. So we've had some strange dunks through the years.
That's right. He went from Crespi to Notre Dame. He's been everywhere.
Yes, and he's a football player. No more basketball.
All right, Daryl Haley at 6'11" will be the first one to start in our slam dunk contest. And here's where the gym comes alive. So let's see what Haley can do. Now, the first rule of dunking is making the dunk.
Right, so that was a smart move. Wasn't all that great, but make the dunk. That could help him out a little bit.
See some 7s up there, and hopefully they'll turn it to our side so we can see him. But the key there is Daryl Haley was able to jam it through. Trevor Wiseman is going to be next. You'll see some electrifying dunks before this one's over. Well, off the board, but again, that's it. He didn't convert. He'll try it again. He still has 5 seconds. That's better. You have 30 seconds, so if you miss one, you do have time to recycle and start all over again and slam it home. Total of 41 for Wiseman. There's 8s and 9s.
You also don't want to give him your best dunk early in the round. You want to save the best for the finals.
I see you got a camera out and everything. You're taking pictures of
Well,
these
you
guys.
never know. There could be an amazing dunk out here, Randy. I want to be prepared. I work for the LA Times.
Well, here's Bryce Jones, and here's the guy that everyone's talking about. He's on his way to USC, and see what he has in store for us. That was the best one for my dollars so far. A little bit of a roundhouse to that one for Bryce Jones. You like that one?
Absolutely, Brian. That was an excellent first dunk for Jones. He's already signing autographs, so he knows how to play to the crowd.
Let's look at that one again by Bryce.
Just very composed and smart, and added a little bit of ingenuity there.
Well, Coleman's a good dunker, too. Jordan Coleman out of Calabasas High School. Co-MVP of Ventura County with Tiffin. Had a lot of force behind it. Lucky that Curley from Style and Construction retrieved it for him, gives him another shot at it. There's the slam dunk.
good jumping ability, so I think he can hang in there for a while.
38 in the game this year, got a win at Thousand Oaks. His total was 42. They'll add it all up, and then we'll get our two finalists. Jordan Coleman, by his own admission, is a Russell Westbrook type of player. A great player at UCLA, now in the NBA. Okay, this was second dunk for Darrell Haley. Kind of a benign first round. Let's see what he does. Looks like he's got give him another opportunity, and he just slams it down. Fans weren't into Darrell Haley at all.
Well, now I see Wiseman and Jordan Coleman consulting with people, trying to give them ideas how to proceed here, because Bryce Jones has moved into the favorites role, so Trevor Wiseman is asking one of his teammates here to help him out.
Well, Stanham's got to get him the ball.
I hope they worked on this at Golden Valley.
So far, this is not as pretty as they would have liked. One more opportunity. No, they're not going to give him. Time has run out. We're going to give him a last shot at it here. They don't want him to fail. None of us do.
I think maybe Bryce Jones had the smart idea. Don't plan ahead. Just go out and perform. And that's what he's good at.
Let's see who's going to come out there next. So far, the crowd not electrified except for the one dunk by this guy, Bryce Jones. Fans like him. Of course, he's a very explosive player. A little bit more of a run-up here. In my mind, unquestionably, and the fans agree, Bryce Jones is the guy.
Bryce knows how to entertain, and he is doing a great job with entertainment here. Just shows that athleticism, one-hand reverse dunk.
So far, it's been the Bryce Jones show at halftime. Let's see what Coleman can do. See if he can match that kind of electricity. Jordan's back and trying to get. He still has 15 seconds. Right now, Bryce Jones doesn't have a whole lot to worry about, does he?
Not a whole lot of competition so far for Bryce Jones, but he's put on a good show.
Oh, he really has. Well, it's not unexpected. He was the Dundee favorite. We're going to go and try and get him out there. You got to feel bad for Jordan. Well, Bryce Jones is in the finals. If I heard that correctly, Jordan Coleman's got to pass into the finals, even though he missed those dunks.
That's because he made one and Trevor Wiseman didn't do it. All right, here goes Bryce. Let's see what he can do.
This is the finals, right? Yeah, we're into the finals.
Now his time is to break out the real good ones.
All right, let's see what Bryce Jones has. His legs, but he didn't convert. They got to give him another opportunity. For creativity alone, Bryce Jones has been spectacular. Coleman can win this.
The pressure is on. You got to make a dunk.
Yeah, that's the first thing we had mentioned when we started this halftime. The first thing you need to do is convert. Jordan Coleman's Coleman and Jones in the finals. Coleman has a 42-26 advantage going into the second night. So this is it. I mean, Bryce has got to do something spectacular. And if ever you're going to pull a rabbit out of the hat, Bryce Jones is going to need a see everything at the Battle of the Valley. I mean, he's got to get points just for bringing Mom out there.
Absolutely. And she's going to let him drove over him. This is going to be interesting.
Well, you have to have confidence in your son. He's going to jump over Mom. Mom's defense denied him. Gets another try here. They're going to give him another shot at him. Mom lives for another day. Mom looking back. This is when you have faith in your child. That's a great angle to see him coming right at you. Hopefully he's okay. Get hurt doing that. Bryce is okay. Helped up by Mom. Give her a hug. There you go. That's right. Well, Bryce gave it everything. With assistance from Mom. Well, all Coleman has to do is do anything and he's going to win. There it is again as Bryce Jones tried to go up over Mom and slam it in. And again, there's Coleman live slamming it through. Jordan Coleman's going to win this.
Well, we appreciate and applaud the effort and the creativity of Bryce Jones.
Jordan Coleman's your winner. Out of Calabasas High School, congratulations to Jordan. And of course, we've seen a few Jordans make some slam dunks over the years. And this Jordan Coleman, our winner of the 14th Battle of the Valley. He wins the slam dunk contest. We're going to step out. It's halftime. The West is leading the East. We'll come back with the second half tip-off here from Cal State Northridge from the Matadome. Right after this, you're watching exclusive coverage of the Battle of the Valley on Time Warner Cable.
Did you know Time Warner Cable now brings you the best of everything SoCal has to offer?
Where are the best places to eat?
What are the best family day trips?
Where can I listen to the best music?
SoCal's Best spotlights the hottest people, places, and happenings that help keep Southern California sizzling. Finding SoCal's Best is simple and easy. Click on Video on Demand Channel 1, choose local, and dive in. So catch the wave and stay connected with SoCal's Best.
Thank you, and I'm here with the champion, Jordan Coleman of Calabasas. Got to feel good to win and to win over the talented competition that you beat.
It feels good because I know Bryce, we were practicing on Tuesday. He had a lot of dunks, and if he would have made some of those, he probably would have won. So it feels good to win.
Where are you going to school next year?
Hawaii, University of Hawaii.
What made you choose Hawaii?
Just the coaches there at every AAU game, and I got a good connection with the coach, so it was a good fit for me. I feel like I could play right away.
Hey, now you win a slam dunk contest. There's going to be kids who want your autograph. There's a young man here who's 6 years old. His name is Charlie. He happens to be my boy, and he wants your autograph.
All right, for sure. Oh.
Is this your first autograph from a little kid?
No, I gave one before the game, so getting used to it.
All right, well, he signs. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Jake. And Jordan Coleman may have to get used to signing autographs in Honolulu at the Stan Sheriff Center when he plays his college basketball at the University of Hawaii. It's halftime at 44-33. There were highlights galore in the first half, especially for the West, who, if you joined us late, jumped out to a 12-0 lead to begin the contest and started with a move like that. That was beautiful from Johnson of the Western Stars. And Jason wasn't done. He was hitting shots from everywhere.
And he had 11 points, really did a great job offensively and showed some unselfishness passing it off to Alex Tiffin.
There's Wiseman putting it in, and they need more of that from Trevor, who's a terrific scorer. There's Trey Holden out of El Camino Real. Came up and dropped in there beautifully to the Weston Odu. And then Nick Brown, who had 11 first half points out of Verdugo Hills, lit it up in that bright red uniform. Our lone dunk from Darrell Haley in the first half. Big 6'11" player. Then Bryce Jones late in the half started to score, Eric, and looked very good. There's another dunk. So we did have a second dunk. I forgot that one by Bryce. We got that one with a little bit of ferocity at the end of the half. So there was actually two dunks in the first half there. One by Haley and one by Jones. 44-33 at the break. Dave Robibo's team is leading here, representing the West. He's out of El Camino. Jose Hernandez of Burbank, who had a wonderful record there this year, 23-9, and had a big winning season. Of course, he was paced by his outstanding guard who's in the game, Arden Garagorgian. But so far, they're down by 11. But in these kind of games, we see a lot of turnarounds, and we see them quickly, lots of runs. And we'll see again after that slam dunk contest where the electricity is very high in the arena. See if the teams now can manufacture some motivation as they begin the second half.
We have to see if the East can come out and play a little bit better at the outset here. They struggled at the outset of the game. Got the first stringers in here for the East, so we're going to see if they can do a little bit better job at the outset.
Well, the West has Pearson Williams, Jermarn Dansby is starting, Odu's out there, Mark Friedman out of Westlake, and Trevor Medina. I mentioned the East has the same group that started. McClurkin, and Kyle Drill, Garagorgian, Haley, and Wiseman. Here's Dansby. Out to Weissman. And, Friedman can't hit the jump shot. There's Medina again, ball hawking. Picking up the fouls. He was working against Coltrane Powdrill. Powdrill averaged 17 a game for Crescenta Valley. Medina picked up the foul, but he's always there trying to get that theft. Powdrill to bring it in to Wiseman. And a steal by Medina. Boy, is he very good on defense. I'd love to see a player that committed and dedicated to playing D. There's Williams with the scoop.
Left-handed layup, very impressive. And Trevor Medina, he's a steal machine. Just makes things happen on defense.
135 steals for the Highlanders last year. Haley right there, waits patiently and lays it in. I like the fact that Darrell was extremely patient there and waited for his opportunity. Dansby had an unbelievable assist year. He had 362 assists. There's Medina. Oh, and he missed a layup. But getting back to Jermaine Dansby, he averaged 12 assists a game. 362 assists this year at Commuter Charter High School, playing for the Titans.
Yeah, they're trying to get into the city section, small division, perhaps next season.
Dansby hit it, and Haley rebounds. See if this Eastern team can put together some baskets, get the offense going. Well, that'll make it a little bit easier, but you got to convert them. Haley puts it up and in after the miss. Good play by Darrell Haley. Garagorgian was right there and just couldn't drop it in. Dansby puts it in overdrive. Nice pass to Medina. Two quick guards in there. And Medina misses. Odu gets it back and he lays it up. Sadi Odu, 6'3" forward. Says he's a strong inside player despite playing at only 6'3". 48 to 37. Williams block, rebound inside, up and in for McClurkin. Jamal McClurkin is a young guy who really attacks the goal.
Yeah, he's very good hands, physical, he's got some strength, and is able to get some loose balls underneath.
Russell Williams. Bryce Jones got all the headlines. This isn't bad. Trevor sets up and hits a 16. 50 to 39. Lead is 11 for the Western Stars in white.
We'll have a lot more players from Taft in this game down the road. They had some great guards in Spencer Dinwiddie and Landon Drew, and they got a great player coming eligible next season in Kevin Johnson, a transfer from Sarah.
Drew, that's just from the name, Larry Drew Jr. We saw him perform at Taft, big time year at North Carolina this year.
Yes, I would say Taft is the favorite to win the city Division I title next season.
Kind of close. The big obstacle for them has been Westchester. Of course, Westchester won the state title, an obstacle for everyone. Medina left side to Pearson Williams. at the free throw line. He'll take the 15-footer. And there's Medina. He is cat quick. Friedman off to Medina. Thought about it from the side. Medina. It's slapped away. Slaughter got a piece of that basketball. Odu from the corner. Odu can't do there. There's McClurkin clearing. Medina slapped it away and out of bounds. You've got to be aware where number 3 in white is at all times. The man from Granada Hills, Trevor Medina. He's the kind of player you just hate to work against because he's pesky. McClurkin can't hit the 3 ball. Run down by Slaughter. Nick Brown inside to Haley. Haley gives it off. Slaughter takes it up over the iron and draws the foul. Going to the free throw line is Larry Slaughter. Odu picked up the foul, and Slaughter goes to the line. Well, Jose Hernandez coming in, thought he had a very balanced team with inside and outside players, but so far offensively, his team has been stalled by this stifling West defense.
They really have been unable to find an outside threat other than Nick Brown, who gave him a big lift in the first half with 11 points. And he's back in there. Maybe he can get started again.
Really can't hit it. Brown got it back for him, though. Here's McClurkin. McClurkin puts it up, no good. Tipped up by Slaughter once, twice, and in. Larry Slaughter. 50-41. Lead is 9 for the West. Certainly the East not out of this one. And it's slapped away and out of bounds. Timeout on the floor with 15:39 left before this one concludes with the 14th Battle of the Valley, and some sponsors to thank here. Helping out the Valley Sports Foundation. Put this doubleheader on earlier. We had a girls game for you. Well played. It was an exciting game. Won by the Eastern Stars, 91-75. Here we want to thank all our friends at Cal State Northridge, HPA, and our friends with the J Communication there, with that little eye that kind of looks like a J. They do a great job and support the Battle of the Valley. Randy Rosenbaum, Eric Sondheimer. Eric, give me some reasons why the East is going to fight back in this one, claw back into it.
The reason would be if Wiseman starts getting the fast break going. I have yet to see a really sustained fast break from the East, and that's what they're going to need. But the West has brought back Bryce Jones, and he will be the streak buster because he's not going to allow a whole lot of points scored.
Trey Holden's come back as well, Alex Tiffin. So the West's got a lot of good players in. Here's Tiffin. Rebound Slaughter. To McClurkin, and Jamal's played a good game. Of all the Eastern Stars, he's been the most consistent. Brown had some electrifying moments knocking down shots, but McClurkin's been consistent. Wiseman no good. There's Slaughter inside, cleaning up, putting it up and in. And Larry Slaughter doing a nice job inside of the second half for the East. He's undecided about his future. There's one that goes in beautifully from the side, and that's Khan that knocked it in. Hassan Khan. Hassan Khan of Agoura, 6'1" guard, all Ventura County. Inside Slaughter with 2 more. Oh, Larry Slaughter's picking up the tempo.
The school that produced Paul George.
On the side, Holden's 3-ball no good. Rebound Healy. Here's Wiseman looking to go up tempo, only down by 7. McClurkin inside, 2 more. Here comes the East. And they're getting baskets at close range.
Right, much smarter moves. Forget the 3-pointers if you can go inside in an all-star game.
Bryce Jones, bingo! A 3-ball for Bryce Jones. Boy, he got that one up with the quick trigger. 14:20 left. The lead is 8 for the West. And Wiseman at 6'8", able to drive and score.
The pace is picking up a little bit.
And Tiffin the other way is unguarded. I'd say it's picked up more than just a little bit. They're going end-to-end action. It looks like we have an NHL hockey playoff game going on. Wiseman to McClurkin. McClurkin all the way. Tied up. A late call and a foul. Tiffin picked up the foul. McClurkin's going to the line. And let's take another look at it.
McClurkin has those strong hands and just was being aggressive, going at Tiffin and drew the foul. That's what you want to do inside, but you want to make the free throws. Been a little disappointed with the free throw shooting tonight.
Well, McClurkin averaged 15 points for the Chaminade Eagles. 6 rebounds a game. Eagles had a tough year at 11 and 18. McClurkin is another player that's undecided about his future, and I would think he could help some. He's a pretty good player. He's going to get a breather here. He's played well. Jeremy Sulker Hall out of Notre Dame is going to come in, a 690-pound forward. 57-50. Certainly the jury's still out on this one with 13:45 to play. Johnson going down Main Street, came up empty, and it's out of bounds to the east. A little bit of a lull here from the west, and the east is taking advantage. And Sean Carter back in. He's going to run it up the floor.
West needs to regain its focus, or it will find itself falling behind, and they've lost some of their energy on defense.
Sulker Hall is blocked by Tiffin. There's some energy. Johnson has it. Jason will pull up. He's got a smooth looking delivery. When he takes it out of the holster, he's going to score.
Yeah, he's somebody who's going to be a really good player, maybe at the JC level, and go on to somewhere else.
Sulker Hall with the crash tip. Taken by Bryce Jones, but he lost it to Garner, and the Grant Star is fouled as he goes underneath. Going to the free throw line is Jared Garner. 6'2" guard. Jones denied him, or it would have been a layup for Jared. Garner, who averaged 19 points a game for the Lancers. Well, the East has worked hard in the second half in the first 9 minutes. Been able to get the ball to the rim.
Hey, Randy, I'm going to put you out in the free throw line. I think you can shoot better than some of these guys have been doing tonight. I don't know.
No, I can't.
I don't understand what the problem is.
The problem is they probably haven't practiced this.
It's a free throw.
Well, 1 of 2 there for Jared Garner. Lead is 8. Trey Holden with a beautiful move. And goal. Nice drive by Trey Holden, who's playing tonight for his head coach Dave Rebivo, both from El Camino. Sarah Rebivo played in the girls game. That's David's younger sister. Out of El Camino as well. Here's Garner for 3. Sean Carter battling for it and tipped it out of bounds to the west. 12.5 minutes to play.
You just let me know when you want to talk about next season, Randy.
There's no restrictions here.
You know, people always like to know who are going to be the top teams for next season.
Well, who are they?
Well, you have to start out with Taft. I think Harvard-Westlake is going to be a very good team.
You know, on Time Warner Cable, we're throughout Southern California. You can pick everybody.
Do you want me to add some teams in there?
It doesn't have to be just
Long
Valley.
Beach Poly is going to be #1 in Southern California. Etiwanda, Corona Centennial, some excellent Southern sections.
I want you to expand your horizon.
I'm trying to expand your horizon.
I appreciate that. What about on the distaff, the women's side?
Women's side is
Mater Dei is going to be the best team by far.
Yes, they have the best player coming back there.
And Mosqueda Lewis.
They have too many All-Americans, to put it mildly.
Here's Kahn all the way, no good. Yeah, Mater Dei next year may have the best girls team ever assembled in SoCal. They're unbelievable. I believe all 5 starters from their state championship team are coming back.
I wouldn't say ever assembled. There's been some very good teams.
They're going to be pretty good. Jordan Adams, one of the great guards in the country as well.
But I'm looking forward to there's some going to be some.
We're under 12 minutes to play. 11:52 remains, and the West is holding on to a 10-point lead here at 61-51 in the 14th Battle of the Valley. Our friends to thank again here, making it possible for this game to be presented to you. KPRS, the people there are doing a nice job with their construction. MPI and our friends at Madison Partners. Let's go back once again to big game Jake Downing.
Hey guys, we've been talking a lot of junior college coaches, but this time we're talking to a coach from a 4-year school, Rich Ryder from Cal Lutheran. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, thank you very much.
Well, unlike the junior college guys who get them for 2 years, you get them for 4. I'm sure you wouldn't mind having some of this talent on your team.
The skill level here is very good. I've been very impressed. It seems like every year it's gotten better and better, and this year is no exception. There's some highly skilled basketball players here we're going to hear about in the future.
Could either of these rosters give your current roster a run?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, it would be fun to play. It would be fun because it obviously the skill level, the running and the jumping and the hand skills are very good, but it would be fun to play them.
Thanks for being with us. Back to you guys.
The Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. Conejo Valley. 61-51 here. Speaking of the western area, the West is leading the East. Solker Hall with a nice move, but he didn't finish. Here comes Bryce Jones. Bryce all the way. Forgot the basketball. And Garner had it slapped away, and Eric could have made the play. It was right there.
Yeah, I was trying to help Bryce Jones on that play.
I need you to make that catch. When the ball rolls over here, get involved.
Randy, just because Paulie used to beat North Hollywood every year when
Now
you were
here we
high
go
school.
again. You got every shot to hit on the Huskies. Don't you? There's Carter raising up for 3. Inside. I like the work of Solker Hall. He's deservedly going to go to the free throw line for his great work ethic.
Part of that outstanding Mission League. I mean, this was one of the best, probably the best league in the San Fernando Valley. When you're talking about Loyola, Harvard Westlake, Crespi, Alamany, Notre Dame. Those guys just went at it every week. And Loyola and Harvard Westlake were in very tough divisions. They didn't win championships. Crespi did because they got to play Alamany in the final, 4A.
Solker Hall kept it alive. Here's Dragovic missing. Rebound Bryce Jones. Lead is 9. 11:15 to play. Coleman on that baseline, switching to the left hand and rolls off. He got it back, and he draws the foul.
And that's what he does best. He's got this ability to rise and draw the foul. And he scored so many points this year by going to the free throw line. And I always told the coaches, if you want to beat Calabasas, you cannot foul Jordan Coleman. And unfortunately, those coaches didn't listen to my advice.
At 38, the win at TO, we mentioned that earlier. MVP again in the Ventura County area. Averaged 20 a game for Calabasas, and some good rhythm there from the charity strike.
Finally, a good free throw shooter.
63-52. Sean Carter running the East at the point. Eric Garner on the wing, driving all the way. And the whistles are sounding a little bit too much right now, but that's a tribute really to the players who are looking to drive the ball to the iron. I mean, these are good calls. This is a well-officiated game. You like to see the free throw go down. You like to see the three-point shots go down, but right now they're calling it close as the players are taking it strong to the iron, and Garner converts. Waiting for someone to rock the rim with a thunderous slam dunk. Right?
Yeah, the big surprise is we haven't had too many dunks, which means the teams have been getting back on defense.
Here's Jason Johnson walking it up in a 63-54 game. And another takeaway. See if the East can put a basket together after making a couple shots. Here's Dragovic, no good. Rebound Garner, running it down. Claiming the ball, and Garner off the glass, the kiss of the two. Jared Garner. Boy, that had some spin on it, some English. Here's Jones, slamming it home. Bryce Jones. Boy, he got ahead of the pack and rocked the rim there. Carter the other way.
Well, Bryce Jones is going to be so good in that transition game for USC, which gets the ball up court quickly, and he's going to fit in so well, whether it's in the wing position or anywhere on that team.
Stayed him at the line for 2, and the trend continues. He's just not hitting those fouls.
But they're hanging in this game, Randy. This game is not over with. And
well, it's only a 9-point game. 10-13 to play.
Just waiting for somebody to really step up and either end the game or bring the East back into it.
Well, they're not out of it.
But they're just hanging around. I need to see if somebody can put them over the top there and really make this a close game.
Who's your leading contender for MVP?
It's still wide open. Bryce Jones is making a strong run.
Well, that's not a surprise. Falwell inside to Odu, and he's fouled going up.
You have him and Jason Johnson. They've both played solidly for the East. Nick Jones has been kind of quiet here in the second half. Nick Brown.
Odu's foul shot off the iron. Sonny Odu averaged 16 points at Birmingham. Second team All-West Valley League on his way to play junior college in Norfolk. Carter pushing it. Odu blocked him. Wheeling back the other way. Out of bounds for the Lancers. Under 10 minutes left as Holden tries for three. Trey Holden. Well, his name is Trey, and he gets three. Trey Holden, and that builds the lead back up to a dozen. 69-57 on our Time Warner Cable scoreboard. Here's Garner all the way. That's sweet. Garner's an offensive force for the Eastern Stars. But they're back by 10 after that Holden triple the last time he came down the floor. Holden. Under duress, couldn't hit that one. And the East will get the ball back. Quincy Moore with the rebound. He's in there. There's number 3. Carter's number 22, and this is Garner. Garner looking to score again. Right there, but he put it up there too strong. Medina. Would have been a 3 ball. Back out to the East.
The middle is open if somebody wants it, and so far, last couple minutes, Jared Gardner is the only one guy who's trying to drive and take advantage.
Carter with the step back jumper. East, they get in a position where you think they're going to make the move, but they just are not putting baskets. And there's one that's laid in for the Western Star. Falwell is going to the line and trying to make it a 3-point play.
2-year captain at Simi Valley, and really Christian Arran just speaks so highly of him.
Well, CJ, again, you got to speak highly of an all-academic guy, 4.2 GPA, possible future coach. Converts the 3-point play, CJ Falwell.
Are you saying he's going
on his way to Occidental?
Is he going to replace Christian Arran?
Oh, I don't know about that, but he's going to attend school in Pasadena, Occidental. Garner off to Dragovic. Big shot just went in and out. Here comes the Western Stars again with an overmatch. Here's Odu.
Oh my.
Carter's foul coming out of the backcourt. 8:13 left. Things are looking good for the Western Stars. Trey Holden commits the foul, and we're in the bonus. 1-on-1 for Dushan Carter. Carter's foul shot is up, and he earns the bonus. Out of the Freelance League, Renaissance Academy, La Cañada. Played for Sid Cook. Already visited Southwest Baptist College in Missouri. He's got some interest from Cal State Northridge. So perhaps the young man you're looking at there, Dushan Carter, could end up playing right here for the Matadors and Bobby Braswell. Maybe some pressure from the East. Would you anticipate that, Eric? Maybe pick up full court? Starting to do a little bit of that.
They have to pick up the tempo. That's going to be the key to any comeback bid.
11-point lead. Here's Dansby. And he's going to shoot the 3. Odu on the weak side with the rebound. Trey Holden. Healy rebounds. Claiming it at 6'11". There's some size out there for the East. Haley at 6'11", Wiseman at 6'8". And here's Haley facing up, missing. McClurkin right there. Bothered by Friedman. Friedman, the last to touch, and the East will retain.
McClurkin's just done a great job offensive rebounds.
Have our immediate timeout as we go under 8 minutes to play. Again, we have some friends to thank who have helped this Battle of the Valley take place here at the Matadome in Cal State Northridge. Kevin and Britton Shannon, the Lear family, Patrick C. Stacker, and Zuma Technology. And let's go once again to the big man on campus, big man, big game, Jake Downey.
Calabasas High, and you had a young man on your team win the slam dunk contest.
Yeah, it was a great moment for Jordan Coleman. He put on some nice dunks this evening, but he was a real highlight film during the season. You know, seeing him dunk on defense is really something. He's a great athlete.
Did you teach him everything he knows?
I told him to multiply the credit cards that I can jump over, yeah.
Well, you got to take a lot of pleasure in how your season turned out. Maybe not everything you wanted, but you guys played well and had a good record.
Yeah, we had a great season with the league championship and won some games in the playoffs, and Jordan earned a scholarship and won County Player of the Year up in Ventura County, so it was a great season for us.
Thanks for being with us, Coach. Back to you guys.
Coach Pilar is very proud of his player, and well, he should be after Jordan Coleman led Calabasas to a 24-5 record. Inside, Haley nicked as he was going up, and will go to the free throw line.
Calabasas was unfortunate in that they were stuck in the division with Gardena, Sarah, Harvard, Westlake, Compton, Centennial. Just the toughest, as tough division as Division I AA. Of course, Sarah won a Division III state title.
Well, the trials and tribulations of the foul shots not going in continue for the East. And then back at the other end, Trey Holden with the soft jump shot. Dansby with a nice assist, a lead of 13. McClurkin is blocked and fouled. Still time for the East.
You act like you're trying to root the East on, Randy. You keep saying
I want to see a
time.
competitive game. You want to see it go down to the wire. Remember last year's finish was so climactic when the West won it in double overtime, 96-95.
Do you know something I don't know? Has this been set up?
No, I'm not saying it's a setup.
I was thinking we're talking
There are
professional wrestling here.
No, there's no shenanigans going on here at the Battle of the Valley. Everything's on the level. There we go. McClurkin drops in a pair of charities.
I just want to see Bryce Jones come back in the game. He's been putting on the show. He should have won the dunk contest. I want a recount.
He's going to the scorer's table. He will be back in.
Next time I'm going to advise him, don't bring his mother out.
Why, she did. It wasn't her fault.
She put too much pressure on him to dunk over him.
Don't blame it on Mom. Haley can't complete it, but it's out of bounds to the East off of the hustling Jermaine Dansby. And here comes the twins of Taft, Pearson Williams and Bryce Jones.
Of course, when the game gets close here, Dave Urbito brings in the Taft guys. They know how to handle the pressure.
Oh, Dansby slapped it away. Ball intended for Quincy Moore out of Eastside High School. The Lions are in Lancaster, and Quincy Moore was the captain there. He's going to prep school it next year in Texas.
Prep school it?
Yeah, he's going to prep school in Texas. Slaughter's shot no good. Odu rebounds. Khan the other way, and Hassan lays it in.
Nice move. Power move.
Hassan Khan. 76-63. Wiseman the other way. Slam dunk. Put back in by Slaughter. I'll tell you this. You talked about Paul George coming in here out of Knight High School in Palmdale and scoring 30. Well, Larry Slaughter put on a nice performance here in the second half for the East. Bryce Jones rims it off. Odu rebounds and drops it in. 78-65, and the scoring fest continues. Nobody's guarding Slaughter, and he's fouled hard. Nearly made the basket anyway.
Slaughter's done a nice job inside.
He's a 6'5" forward. I think could help somebody. He's not yet committed. And he's a good-looking player.
Yeah, those 6'5" guys that don't shoot outside, it's very difficult to play at the next level. You're an in-between guy, between a wing and a power forward, and that's the problem. You either want to be a guard at 6'5", or you need to grow to 6'7" or 6'8". That extra height is really the difference to get a Division I scholarship.
1 of 2 for Slaughter. Lead is a dozen for the West in white as they go on the attack. Dansby. Some defense there from Turkin. Dansby gets a pick from Odu. Tipped by Jones. And controlled by Quincy Moore. Here comes Wiseman behind the back. Beautiful play. Lobbed it too tall for Haley. And if you can't find Haley, you're not going to find anyone because he's the tallest guy on the floor.
Yeah, I don't think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would have caught that one either. But it was close.
Not now, maybe when he was younger.
Close. Maybe David Thompson.
These people don't remember David Thompson. Maybe Dwayne Coley. Played for Westchester. Such a great leaper. 5.5 minutes to play. This is tough on the coaches. You know, you got liberal substitution. You're trying to balance the minutes, give everyone an opportunity to play. Hope you've enjoyed it on Time Warner Cable. We've had a fun time presenting this to you. Channel 101. Had the girls game, now the boys game here at the 14th Battle of the Valley. East against the West. Here's a takeaway. Hassan Khan again behind the back. That's gorgeous. Beautiful finish by Johnson, but Khan made it happen.
Wow, that was an Agoura High player with that kind of spectacular behind the back. I don't think they allowed that in Ventura County, that kind of play.
That might have been the highlight of the night as Haley turns and hooks it in from 5. Daryl Haley, who's got a big upside, student athlete. I mean, he's bright, 3.8 GPA. Played Virginia Commonwealth. Harrison Williams lofting it from deep, and there's Haley rebounding. Haley into the front court. Wiseman, and nobody guards him. It's a lot easier to score when nobody's back. It's a 10-point game. Johnson looking for 3 out of the corner. And here comes the Bulldog, Garagorgian. To McClurkin, and suddenly it's an 8-point game in the East. Chops it down, 80-72. Khan with that rainbow shot. Jones took it away from Haley. Never saw him come in from the blind side. Slaughter. And slapped away by Coleman. Khan leads a fast break for the West. And McClurkin has it. West missing some shots here.
Keeping the East in the game.
Wiseman from the side. Yes. 80-74. Don't go wandering off here on Time Warner Cable.
Randy wants another double overtime game.
Well, I liked last year. And a foul in the backcourt. Jason Johnson committing the foul.
I'm just going to watch Dave Rubito on the bench. When he gets serious, then we'll know the game is really getting close, because he's still smiling, and he's the guy again whose team lost in the Division III final by giving up the last 19 points.
Argan Garagorgian and company are trying to come back. We want to thank Altman's Construction Company, Pillsbury, and XEBEC for their helping of the Battle of the Valley. As we go under 4 minutes, we're down to the final 3:35 of this basketball game. And the East is advertised. We thought they would come back, and they have. They've cut it down to 6. The lead has been reduced to just a half a dozen as we take it over to big game Jake Downing.
Well, thanks, guys. I'm here with Howard Fisher of College of the Canyons, and you watched this game probably salivating at all the talent that you'd like to have on your team, huh?
Oh, there are several players we'd like to have. A lot of talent, some great athletes, and they're doing a great job tonight.
A lot of junior college coaches have talked about how they recruit and how different it is when you're at a 4-year school versus a junior college, but still you offer kids a second chance.
We give them an opportunity if they have deficiencies academically to improve that, but also to get some good competition as far as basketball is concerned.
And I'm guessing you've sent some young men on to Division I schools in the last few years, huh?
We sent several. I believe Andre Murray played in this game a few years ago. He went to Portland State 2 years to the NCAA tournament. We've had others as well.
and as the years go on, you'll have more.
So we look forward to it.
Coach, thanks for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Back to you.
Argan Garagorgian misses the first one. The 10th team foul on the West. That's why Garagorgian is at the line. If the East had hit their foul shots, Eric, they'd be in the lead by now.
Yes, it's about time for Bryce Jones to take over. I've seen him win a couple games this season with last-second shots, and that is not the smart move to make with a 5-point lead in the 3.5 minutes left.
But again, it is about some individual style points, and Jason Johnson was trying to throw it down and get a dunk with Alex Tiffin. They're not really thinking about the W's at times in all-star games. They're looking about making a great play. Going up and coming down and traveling with the basketball is Trevor Wiseman. 3:20 to play, and the lead is but 5 for the West.
I'm calling play number 1. That's Bryce Jones. Get the ball to him and clear out.
Well, you like Bryce Jones. That's all you talk about.
Hey, he's had a great season, and I'm happy for him because he had to sit out his junior year, and that's tough to come back to a high level when you miss a whole season.
Very talented players, had some huge high school games. There's a steal on the inbounds play, and a basket for McClurkin, and it's 80-77, and the East is applying the heat.
Randy, you tell me you knew this happening the whole time.
I had no clue.
Something's going on. I'm investigating this.
That's what you do in journalism as a reporter for the LA Times. But there are no false illusions here. This has been done by the East. Here's Bryce Jones, can't connect. Rebound Wiseman, here he comes. Gives it off. Garagorgian can't score, but McClurkin does. And McClurkin certainly a candidate for the MVP. It's a 1-point game with 2:40 to play. Bryce Jones lays it in. 82-79. A one-possession game with 2.5 minutes to go. 82-79.
Jones is taking control here. Great shot, but it's going down to the wire. Randy, you predicted it here. I think the West lost a little interest, and the East has picked up their intensity. McClurkin's been playing consistent the whole night long, and now it's going to be up to the West to do some executing on offense.
Over on the East, the West has it back. The one thing about McClurkin that is very obvious is his will to win. He's an intense player. Have a foul underneath after the Bryce Jones miss. Going against the Western Stars, and again they're over the limit, so it's free throwing for the East.
Chance to cut it down to 1 point.
Automatic 2 shots too, because they're in the double bonus.
Nice.
Slaughter will shoot 2.
Nice comeback from the early 20-4 deficit. But I had warned you that these games are all about surges back and forth.
Said we thought it would be a tight battle. Not unexpected. Both coaches anticipated a game that would go down to the final seconds. It's 82-80 as Slaughter nails the first one.
That would be so fun if it is down to the wire, because then we really get to see Wiseman and Jones put on a show. Last second shots.
82-80. West with the ball in the lead. Johnson all the way, can't finish. Rebound Slaughter. Slaughter's outlet finds Wiseman. Wiseman gives it off to Sulker Hall. He's blocked by Tiffin. Alex Tiffin coming out of nowhere for the block. Jason Johnson out of bounds. He wanted to throw it to Coleman and missed him. 2:03 to play. 82-80. Will the East ever get the lead here?
Yeah, I know about style points, but there's also smart points, and that was Jason Johnson did not do a good play. He left his feet, and you don't want to do that. It's a fundamental.
Think we're going to have overtime like last year?
Who knows, Randy? You've known this from the beginning here, so we'll have to talk after the game.
I always thought. Here's a shot going up and a foul, and McClurkin's going to the line. Tiffin got him with the body.
I think the coaches just want to work a little harder here at the end of the game, sweat a little bit more.
Jamal McClurkin, I think right now is the player of the game. Guy at the free throw line. Certainly if his team able to pull it out. That one hurts a little bit. But his desire, his willingness to try to win the game has been great. He's not playing this like it's an all-star game. He's playing like it's a CIF championship game. They miss on both occasions here. That hurts. They could have tied it. Minute 45 remains in regulation. 82 for the West, 80 for the East. The West owning ball possession. Jason Johnson with the rock. Kicks it out to Pearson for three. Rebound Slaughter. There he goes all the way. Puts it in. Larry Slaughter with the kiss, and we're deadlocked at 82.
Larry Slaughter and McClurkin have brought back the East. Deadlock.
Minute 15 to play. Johnson partially blocked by McClurkin. Here's Wiseman to McClurkin, who raises up. Can't put it in. Wiseman there and scores. Trevor Wiseman gives the East an 84-82 lead. Under a minute to play. The West back by 2. They've led all night. Medina in there. Trevor Medina. To Tiffin. 24 on the shot clock. 46 on the game clock. They want Bryce Jones as they spread out that attack. Medina for three. Yes! The huge hit for Trevor Medina. A 1-point lead for the Western Stars with a half a minute to play. Wiseman the other way. The spin. Hall can't score. Tiffin has it. Solker Hall was right there and couldn't put it in. 85-84, and they're forced to foul. Bryce Jones.
What a clutch shot by Trevor Medina. He's been known for his defense tonight, but Bryce Jones was getting double teamed and found the open man, and Medina delivered a clutch shot.
There's a problem for the East. They only have 5 team fouls, so they're going to have to quickly commit another one, then foul again before they can send the Western Stars into the bonus. So you want to foul immediately. You want to run over there and foul. That's exactly what Slaughter does. That's high IQ basketball. And now you got to do it again and force the Western Stars to hit from the line. That's team foul number 6.
Still plenty of time.
16.5 seconds. Oh, this has been some game of the week on Time Warner Cable. 85-84 in the Battle of the Valley. Got to commit the foul, and they do on Johnson. McClurkin wisely got him. And it's 1-1 for Jamal McClurkin as he fouls. And that'll send
Jason Johnson
to the line.
About the West Valley League, we had Medina from Granada Hills making the three-pointer, and now it's up to Johnson here to try and give a 3-point lead.
Now, even if he hits them both, a 3-ball could tie it. So it's going to be a one-possession game no matter what happens here with Jason Johnson at the line. Free throw, not there. The East can win it. The East can win it in the final 10 seconds. Here's Wiseman, off to McClurkin. He had it tapped away to Medina. Medina gives it off to Jones. He lays it in. Well, we'll see how much time's on the clock. It says 0.3. We'll see if they put some more time back on the clock. 87-84. It appears for the moment the West is going to get out of here with a W.
Nice play by Alex Tiffin. He had the block and then gave it to Bryce Jones for the layup. The West is really escaping with a victory here, it appears.
Well, the East had clawed back to get the lead, and then to the credit of the West and that big 3-ball by Trevor Medina. That's the shot of the game. Medina's shot from the land of 3. Well, it's impossible really to, you would think, to hit a 3 with less than a second to go, but who knows? Theoretically, you're only be able to tip in with 3/10 left. You're not supposed to be able to turn and shoot. So you're just going to have to get it and fire away. What do you think, Gary? Pretty entertaining second half.
Got a lot better there. And I just don't know who the MVP is. It's a very tough call. I don't have an MVP, Brandon.
And usually you're pretty outspoken about that.
Yeah, it's been pretty even here. lot of contributions on the east side.
Trevor Medina, I mean, he's got to be in the discussion, and McClurkin certainly for the east.
Yeah, certainly Medina with his contributions on defense, and then that clutch shot. You're right, maybe he deserves it.
Of course, Bryce Jones has had moments. Nick Brown is out there for the east, but I don't know how they're going to adjust it to 1.6. That changes the complexion of everything, so they can turn and hit a three. Well, they lost 3/10 there as it was tipped away, but they get to move up a few feet. It is possible. There's time to catch, turn around, and fire away. Got to basically throw it in from the back court. Comes into Nick Brown. There's the shot to tie it. Oh, nearly got it. He hit the iron. Nick Brown turned around and nearly got it.
That was one heck of a shot.
I didn't think it had a chance in the world to get there, and nearly went in.
And that was the magic of Verdugo Hills. You want a Verdugo Hills player to try for the last shot of 2010.
87-84, the West All-Stars get the W. That close.
And that ends the high school season for this year. And again, fitting that a Verdugo Hills player almost pulled out the miracle shot, but give credit to the West. I thought Bryce Jones played well. I thought Trevor Medina came up with some key plays offensively and defensively for the East. Jamal McClurkin was solid the whole game. Slaughter out of Knight High School did a great job, and Trevor Weitzman did a good job at the point guard position.
I would say that was about a 58-footer, and he came up just an eyelash short. Tonight's game has been presented by the Valley Sports Foundation, making your basketball dreams come true. We thank the Valley Sports Foundation. By the good people at Styling Construction. No one has our experience or billing terms. Styling Construction, see the difference. And by LDS Real Estate. We build lasting relationships with offices in Los Angeles, Orange County, and North San Diego. There's IDS, our friends at IDS as well. We want to thank them for helping out at the Battle of the Valley. Again, we just mentioned them. Of course, they're in LA and Orange County and in San Diego. Give them a call and thank them for their participation here at the Battle of the Valley. Final score again was 87-84 for the Western Stars, and great performance by a lot of different players. And is Bryce Jones going to be our MVP? They're talking to him over there, and he's holding up a little bit of a jersey, and so perhaps it is Bryce Jones. That wouldn't be a shock. He's had some great moments. It could have been a few other guys. And he's getting a hug from Mom, which is always nice to see, and Mom was so prominent in that slam dunk contest.
Well, he had 18 points, 12 rebounds on the winning team. Jamal McClurkin led everybody with 19 points.
I like Larry Slaughter in the second half. He had 15 points as well. Had a good game, but there's Bryce Jones. He's
I think I'd rather have the MVP trophy than the dunk contest trophy.
Well, Bryce Jones came an eyelash away from winning the dunk contest. I went to Justin Coleman, and he's standing by now with our big game, Jake Downing.
All right, well, I'm here with the MVP, and our MVP is here with a very special guest, but not just for any reason, Bryce. In that slam dunk contest, you jumped over your mom. You got to tell me about that.
Just standing there thinking, thought it'd be kind of creative, so decided to ask my mom, come out, try to jump over. Didn't work out the best, but I had a lot of fun.
I wonder if Mom has a different take on that.
No, it was great. He wanted to try it. I support him, and I was there for him. No questions.
And he didn't win the slam dunk contest, but he did win MVP.
He did. He's a great player. I'm so proud of him. He had a great season and a great year, and fight on, Trojans.
So this is a nice capper to your high school career, and you're heading off to SC next year. Do you kind of lie awake at night thinking about all the things that are happening in your life?
Yeah, it's going to be a big jump school-wise and sports-wise, but I think I'm ready to take on the challenge.
And what about playing in a game like this? They call it the All-Star game because they are all stars, but you are the best of the All-Stars.
I just come out here looking to do what I do. They're all great players out here. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy these kind of games, and it's great.
Are you ever going to do a dunk over your mom again?
Probably in the future after I work on it a little bit more.
You got to get some springs in the shoes?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Bryce Jones well on his way to USC with 18 points, 12 rebounds, and our MVP award. as the Western Stars just slip past the Eastern All-Stars here in the 14th Battle of the Valley, 87-84. We'll be back with some highlights, some final thoughts from the Matadome right after this. You're watching the Battle of the Valley exclusively on Time Warner Cable.
Hi, everybody. I'm Randy Cardoon, inviting you to catch exciting high school sports action every week on Time Warner Cable's High School Sports Rewind. We'll feature the top games in a variety of girls and boys sporting events from throughout Southern California. You'll be able to hear from some of the top student athletes and coaches in our weekly profile segments. All this and more Tuesday nights on Channel 101 or anytime on our free video on demand service. Just go to Channel 1, select local and SoCal Sports.
And welcome back to Cal State Northridge. The Battle of the Valley is complete. The boys from the West beat the boys from the East, 87-84. Eric Sonheimer, maybe Francesca Jones should have been the MVP. She was the mom of Bryce Jones, who was so charitable in helping out with the slam dunk contest, put herself in harm's way there, and he tried to slam over Mom, and then he thanked Mom for getting the MVP at the end of the game. That was really nice.
Yeah, it was a very good game and really displayed the athleticism that was present in the San Fernando Valley this past season. Just a lot of good athletes going up and down the court. But of course, the best of all was USC-bound Bryce Jones. And of course, Trevor Medina's shot there with 35 seconds left out of Granada Hills. That was the key play of the game.
Yeah, Jamal McClurkin helped bring the East back. Let's go back and take a look at those highlights throughout the game. A lot of Jamal McClurkin, and here in the first half, the West opened up a nice lead early on. Johnson able to get a fast break goal.
Johnson was hot early on, ended up with 15 points, hit a three, and the West was really in control. To start, had a 20-4 lead at the outset. Alex Tiffin from Thousand Oaks made a nice play there, and that's Trevor Wiseman. He tried to bring them back, but it was about moving the ball back and forth and trying to get a fast break going. Trey Holden did a good job there. That's from Birmingham, doing well. So either way, it was you're the one who thought it was going to be a close game, Randy. I thought the West was home free.
Well, Haley Dunk, you saw the Nick Brown three ball, the young man in red out of Verdugo Hills, and there's Bryce Jones late in the first half. That was an off-balance Jay from the side, and then Jones with the slam dunk, and they started to pick it up. That was his first dunk when he went into the dunk contest, and the highlights prevailed in the second half for Jones as he finished with 18 and 12 to be our MVP. Here's the scoop and the goal for Pearson Williams. It looked like the West and company were going to win it as Tiffin laid it in. They had a double-digit lead early in the game, actually led by that in the second half as well, but the East able to come back. Here's Trey Holden hitting a big three out of El Camino Real, the Western Stars. And look, for all the world, the West would win it handily, but the East was able to come back. Jared Garner here with a wonderful drive to the basket and finish. It went back and forth for a while as Hassan Khan laid it in. And Weissman put it up, and then you saw the finish there by Slaughter. And Larry Slaughter was very good in the second half.
Right, the East hung in there, but I think this season has all been about the strength of the West Valley League. You saw the players from El Camino Real and Taft and Granada Hills, and it's just a very tough league. And that was the Trevor Medina key shot of the game. 35 seconds left that turned a deficit into a victory for the West.
That was the game winner. McClurkin led everybody with 19. Bryce Jones finished with 18 points. And as we put a wrapper on this one in the Battle of the Valley, the 14th edition, the West gets by 87-84. They won in double overtime last year. For a moment, we thought we might have another OT as Nick Brown from backcourt. We cannot forget that finish. The young man from Verdugo Hills, about a 57 or 58-footer, nearly went in. That would have tied it and sent it into overtime.
That would have been so amazing and capped off to the incredible season that Verdugo Hills enjoyed this year. But that really, that's going to be something to remember, how close it came to going in.
Eric, thank you very much for another fine job on the Battle of the Valley. We'll see you here next year.
Thank you, Randy.
All right, some people to thank on our staff at Time Warner Cable. Our director, Max McIver, he did a double dip today, and we thank Max. Greg Castillo helped out as well on audio. Andrew Delara was on our crew. Carl Holm, Brian Fortune, Larry Jones. Always want to thank the guys at Time Warner. Our camera operators, Jeff Gilmore, Vince Taborn, Tony Cantillo, and Carmen Gomez, and of course our grips, not to be forgotten, helping out with all those cables, Jennifer Dempsey and Alex Pugo. All right, that's going to wrap up our coverage. The final score, 87-84. Again, for big game Jake Downey, who helped us on the sideline. And for Eric Schottheimer, my name is Randy Rosenblum. The West prevails by 3. You saw it exclusively, the Battle of the Valley, on Time Warner Cable. We'll see you down the road. Take care, everybody, and so long from the Matadome on the campus of Cal State Northridge.